Hello everyone, this is me, Mr. Mario 2011, behind the camera, but in front of the camera right here, we have a hardware review which I will be revealing to you all. This will be for the X360 USB Pro Special Jungle Edition. Now, to make it clear, between the regular edition and the Special Jungle Edition, there is no difference really hardware-wise. Both of them are going to work the same, but they look different. The reason why I ordered this one is due to the fact that this was the cheapest that I was able to find. Including shipping, I was able to buy this from ModchipCentral.com for $53, a little over $53, I believe. While this might be steep to some people, it was steep to me too, but I do need it. So anyways, let's get into this. As you can see, we got this box right here, and it does look quite big on camera, and on pictures, this does look big as well. However, I'm going to do a size comparison, but let's look at the box. So here, you know, we got the whole camo thing going on. Has the USB icon, X360 USB Pro Special Jungle Edition. On the top here, they are advertising for their websites, and then the IRC-FNet address right there. On the other side, we have the same logo that we had right here. Right there, we have the UPC number, my bad. Another UPC number, and on the bottom saying to follow the instructions carefully, yada yada yada, all that good stuff. Now that we've covered the outside, let's go ahead and cover the inside. But first, before I do that, I will give you all a size comparison. So I did say this thing is quite small, but I'm going to take a Xbox 360 game and compare the size to that. So here we got my copy of Silent Hill HD Collection. Now check this out, okay? That is how big it is. So as you can see, it's not that big. It is quite small. You really don't realize it until you actually get it. But, you know, enough of the sexual innuendos. There will be a lot in here. I understand. I do apologize for that. If you find it immature, I'm really not trying. But, you know, that probably just shows your immaturity. Or maybe you still have a sense of humor. I don't know. Take it however you want to. Anyways, let's get back on track with this. So we're going to be opening up the box. Now, this does come in nice packaging, but I threw away the packaging because, you know, I actually used it. So inside the box here, you are going to have 4 objects. The first one will be your USB mini to USB cable. Now this thing is what I want to say maybe 3 feet. It's not really that long, and unfortunately this cable is defective. When I plugged it in, it would just keep turning my 360 USB Pro on and off, on and off, on and off. Then I used my own cable because these are like a dime a dozen, and that seemed to solve the issue. So thankfully the hardware is not messed up. But we got one of those. In here we got this black cable that I have found no use for. This is a power cable that is also powered through USB. However, I have found that the power for the USB mini cable is sufficient enough for this device. So this device does not require this on my computer, which is a nice feature since I only have to use one USB cable instead of 2. We also get a little tiny SATA cable. This is bigger than the little jumper. Of course, it's much bigger than the jumper that you can find in the Xbox 360, but it's still quite small, so this is really only useful for this. And finally, we have the X360 USB Pro. Now, there are a few lights here. Down here, there's a WinAPI activity. Up here, you got Portio and WinAPI. And up here, you have Portio activity and power. So you got a few lights there just to show you what's going on with everything. On this side, you have your SATA adapter. So you can plug in the SATA port right there. On this side, these are for the other 2, obviously. You have the power right here, which I have not utilized because I have not had the need to, and you have your USB mini. And that's it. So that's how it would look hooked up, except on mine, I just need that. So this end is going to go on the computer itself, obviously. This one will go to the drive. Let's go ahead and unhook these. You will also notice that right here there are some vents for breathing. Here as well, there are a few vents. Team Executor logo right there in the center, of course. Up here, there is a switch that will depend on updating and such, and a little reset button there is what I believe it is. On the back, you do have the camo again, and you have 2 dice there representing Jungleflasher. So that is why this is the special Jungle Edition. However, this does not come with anything extra. This does not act differently. This will act the same. Now, some people have told me that version 2 is different, but this has been sufficient enough for me. And also, one other thing right there, you'll also see the 2 dice, well, the fuzzy dice representing the Jungleflasher logo. Now again, I will do a size comparison, so I will take the actual device itself and compare it with Silent Hill. Now, first off, if we look right here, it is not as thick as a 360 game case, and then if we put it up on here, you can see that it is still very small. So, I mean, this thing will just fit in the palm of my hand. It is a very small device. Very nice reportability though, that's what I like, although I have not flashed using my laptop yet. Now, one thing you might be asking yourselves is, why can't I just use a normal adapter? And by normal adapter, I mean, you can see right here, I have an IDE and SATA adapter to USB. The reason why you can't use these is because they do not work on 360 drives. I don't care what you say, they just don't. They do not work. Only time they work is if you have a 800 flash drive. Besides that, you cannot flash a 360 drive with any of these. You're going to have to use this if you want to do it through USB, and you do have to shell out the cash for it. And I do recommend buying this from any Team Executor sponsored site. ModchipCentral is one of them. And I'm not promoting the site, but I do like them a lot because I order my modding tools only from there. I don't order them from anywhere else because I found their prices are normally the best. And especially if you're in the US or Canada, they're Canada-based. That's it. I was going to say Canadian-based, but Canada-based is better. They are based out of Canada, there we go, and so shipping to the US and Canada is extremely fast. I've gotten all of my orders in about 4 days. So that's it. Anyways, I will show you all how this thing works. Alright, now one thing you all have to know about this is that although this device is wonderful and I do like using it, this is not enough to power your drive. If you just hook this up, this is only for the data, not the power of your drive. So you are going to need to power your drive up somehow, whether that be using an external type of device like the CK3 Lite, like I use. I'll show you all. This is the CK3 Lite. This cost me, I think, $30 or $35. I use this to power all of my drives just because it's much easier than using the Xbox 360 itself. However, you can use the Xbox 360 to power your drives. Just saying, you will need some type of power because this one does not have a power port on it, unfortunately. Alright guys, so here's how it's going to be set up. As you can see, I have my drive right here, and all you need is the drive for this. You don't need to open up your computer or anything, so if you have a Macintosh, if you have a laptop, or if your motherboard, like mine, just does not like flashing drives directly through SATA, well then you can just use this. You can go through USB only and you won't have any issues. So I recommend if you're going to be using this, first you power on the drive itself. Make sure it works by ejecting it. Just like that, and then with this we can just hook it up like so, and we have that running. Now the first time you do run this, you are going to have to install the drivers for it separately, but that is pretty easy to do. You can find guides on it online, and this uses the V2 drivers, so it's not that bad. As you can see, there is activity going on, so we're going to open up Jungleflasher and I'll show you all how this works. Alright, so I know I'm not recording my screen using a screen recorder, I'm using my camcorder, but check this out, okay? We're going to open up Jungleflasher, and the nice thing I love about this is that you do not have to use a driver signature enforcement overrider. You don't have to hit F8 and disable those drivers at the beginning, driver signing, just anything like that. All you do on here, you just open it up, that's it. You do no preparations. As you can see, we can come over here to MTK Flash, and it has instantly recognized my BenQ drive. It is showing that it's hooked up via a X360 USB Pro through USB, so you don't have to worry about Portio, you don't have to worry about anything like that, you don't have to have anything set up in Jungleflasher. As long as you have the Microsoft .NET framework installed, Jungleflasher will work fine. You don't have to worry about test mode, anything like that. It's much less of a headache, and it's very easy to do. Actually flashing and all that is very smooth, and I've noticed that this has worked with anything. I haven't had any freezes, I haven't had any hiccups, everything is just instant, it's just wonderful. I even had a drive that I was stupid, and a few months ago, it was a Samsung that I flashed as a Hitachi, I spoofed it like that, and it was freezing up the computer I normally used for flashing drives. However, with the 360 USB Pro, it just read it instantly. I was able to unlock it, I was able to unspoof it, get the key read back on there, and everything's perfect now. So I really do like this device, and I like it in conjunction with Jungleflasher. Jungleflasher really is optimized for the 360 USB Pro. Although it's not required, it is very nice, and I do recommend it if you do want to spend the money, or if you just can't because you have a laptop or anything like that. It is just a matter of convenience, and it's up to the end user. Now again, what I was saying with this device is that the convenience is very nice. You don't have to open up your computer every time you want to flash your drive. You don't even need a actual desktop to do this. If you have a Macintosh that you can emulate Parallels through, or if you can boot camp it, you can do it with that. If you're on Linux, you could do the same thing, I'm sure, using Wine. If you have a laptop, you can do it. Or, as I said, if your motherboard is incompatible, you can do this as well. It is very nice, it's a smooth process, and I really like flashing with this device. Although I can still flash directly through SATA if I absolutely need to, I still have some computers on hand. I mean, I'm sure people have run into issues where their motherboards just do not like flashing, as in, like, they won't read, or they'll stop at one point, or they'll just keep freezing at random steps, anything like that. This avoids any of those hiccups. It's very nice. It works on 32-bit, 64-bit operating systems. It's extremely smooth, and I would recommend it if you'd like to spend the money on it. However, that is an issue, because if you are used to just being cheap and flashing using a SATA cable and 360's power, you are going to have to splurge a little bit on this. Now again, this is the website I got it from, ModchipCentral. You can buy it off here for $44.95. And shipping is very fast if you are in the US or Canada, since this place is based out of Canada. Again, if you do absolutely need this, I would recommend it, especially since you really don't have to worry about anything else. As I said, this thing, it will not hiccup on you, it will not freeze, it won't do anything like that. So I really do like this device, and if you're someone like me where this was your only option, I think it is worth the money. I honestly think it is. Especially if, I don't know, you want to help out with flashing for friends and such. I do have several Xboxes, so to me it's worth it. But if you only have one Xbox, it might not be worth it. So in conclusion, we have the X360 USB Pro here. My review, I absolutely love it. I think it's a fantastic device, and I don't find any faults with the device itself. I find it serves its purpose very well, and it makes flashing a breeze. However, the only con I can think of really is that it is very overpriced, in my opinion. Although Team Executor, I do like the work that they do, they always seem to overprice their products. That's why a lot of people don't like them, just because of their pricing strategies. However, this is a very great device, and if you do need it, I would recommend it. Or if you just don't want to have the hassle of opening up and closing your computer, I understand most of the time it's easy to open up your case, but there's some people where they just have like those jigsaw puzzle cases, and I don't know. Anyways, I do like this device. I would recommend it if you are thinking of buying it, but you are going to have to shell out about $50 to buy it. Anyways, this is Mr. Mario signing off. Thanks for watching, you guys. That's my review of the X360 USB Pro Special Jungle Edition.